Okay, we've got a quorum now, so I'll call this meeting to order with roll call.
Smith,
Yes.
Ely, Fisher,
Yes.
Glass, Hanson,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Tucker.
And we're looking at minutes from, we're back in February.
This will resume a recommendation by next May, by the May meeting. And
And then it goes to council.
then council has to approve it in June, a minimum of 7 days before July 1.
Motion to approve the minutes of meeting of February 21st, 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from February 2018. Roll call vote.
Sherman,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes. And financial statements.
Well, since we didn't have a meeting last month because of spring break and sicknesses that came up, we've got two sets of financials that we need to look at this evening. The first one is for the date ending February 28, 2018. It shows that we had collected $50,864 that month, for total collections at the end at February 28th at $506,318. We had spent $129,098.33 during the month. Part of that was about $72,000 for shade structures, and then we were running a little bit behind on our debt service, and then we paid $29,000 of that in February. As far as the end of the year, we had $571,104 actual expenditures, with $118,202 in encumbrances, or about 72% of what was budgeted. Cash in bank was $170,120.06. CDs, which included our stability fund, at $411,766.55. As far as revenues, there wasn't just a whole lot of things that was showing there that was out of the ordinary for the month. And as far as expenditures, like I said, we did make a nearly $73,000 payment for shade structures. Made $29,800 worth of debt service payments. Other than that, nothing really unusual as far as salaries, materials and supplies, and other services and charges. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
When was Bridget's last day, and how does that affect budget?
Well, she was, I don't remember exactly when her last day was. She was still helping me on Saturdays through February. Like, we had basketball ended the end of February, but she was still helping me just on the Saturdays. But the last 2-3 weeks before that, she wasn't here during the week. So, first part of February, probably,
Maybe.
as far as the full-time stuff.
So there's been a little bit of savings.
Well, we
Not
maybe
having-
maybe a little clearer, but we may have had some additional expenditures and overtime may have been a little bit higher,
Gotcha, okay.
than what was normal, so, it's kind of where it got balanced out.
Yeah.
Didn't like it in front of it, didn't like that. Do that every day.
You two kids is the best days. Make a motion to approve the February financials.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve February's financials. Roll call vote.
Hanson,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes. March financials.
Again, for the month, we brought in $37,543 with $543,843 as for the year-to-date. Expenditures were $68,115. $19,000 of that was our final payment for the shade structures. The year-to-date, we've spent $639,220 had encumbered, $90,139, or about both those at about 76% of our budget. As far as cash in bank at March 31, I had $142,519 with investments to include the stability fund at $411,980. Other than sales tax, there wasn't a lot of revenues that month. I only had about $500 worth of revenues for the month of March. I imagine that April will be a whole lot different than that with collections for
Yeah,
tournaments
we
and
were
things
done
like
with
that.
basketball and soccer hadn't really started yet, so we were.
Our deposit for soccer was beginning of April.
As far as expenditures for, the expenditures are concerned, again, really the only thing is abnormal is the $19,000 for the shade structures. That was the final payment. Everything else is relatively normal. Insurance, utilities, had some expenses for youth events, a little bit of expense that we encumbered on property maintenance, and then salaries. And that would have been about it. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Jordan, is that building payment, is that what we normally do, $14,000?
That's a normal monthly.
Got behind on February.
In February, we were a month behind, and now we're caught up. We've got 2 more payments to make this year that are encumbered.
Gotcha.
And the reason that, the way that gets behind is it kind of depends on when we get them processed and when we issue the payments. We issue payments about every 2 weeks. And if it falls in one of those cycles weird, it may throw it a little bit behind, is what happens.
Make a motion to approve the March financial statement.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve March financials. Roll call vote.
Hanson,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes. Courtney?
We're getting extremely busy. Soccer's going pretty smooth. Few little small issues, nothing major. Softball games have begun for the youth. Baseball games start next week. I canceled my tournament for this weekend already. We are moving it to next weekend. I will lose a couple teams, but I'm hoping to be able to make some phone calls and pick up where we, in the places that we lost those. So, other than that, I mean, everything's running pretty smooth, pretty busy.
Is that due to rain? Because we're expecting 100% chance of rain on
Yeah, I
Saturday.
scheduled a tournament, so here comes the rain.
Right.
Everybody should thank me.
So if we don't get the rain.
That's because I canceled too early. I already had that phone call today. Someone said, you shouldn't have called it this early, so. I think we're.
Would that be, do you see any problems with that being right over the top of the Little Olympics?
No, what I'm gonna do is, and I've already addressed it to the Alva teams, I will have the Alva teams start later in the day, so it won't affect the Little Olympics. So, I already talked to Tim Mahary, and I wanted to explain to him before I posted it as well, that there won't be any conflicts.
Okay.
I can have my out-of-town teams playing each other first thing in the morning, and have the Alva teams then start mid-afternoon, so.
Thank you. City Council?
I wasn't here last
Okay,
week.
well, biggest thing on the city council, the biggest thing that we've got going on right now is the two biggest things are the tank construction and budget. Tank construction right now is running on time. We have had to do a couple of change orders. One of them was to extend some time, extend their contract time based on the time they were down for geotechnical surveys. And then the other thing is the budget. And we'll talk a little bit about ARC's budget here in a few minutes, but that process is moving forward. Anticipate having a balanced budget by first part of June.
What? Allergy season is here. We go on to the, talking about the budget for 18-19.
Well, as we voted on here, back in, I believe it was February, just in those minutes, the board elected not to have any major capital improvement projects. We wanted to do some studies on what it would take to actually put in a splash pad, and what it should do to increase our concession stands to allow for more room, and maybe one centrally located concession stand, but just try to figure out some studies on that. So there's no real capital improvements last year, for next year rather. The things that some minor capital improvements that Courtney had brought up at the retreat that we decided we probably should go ahead and try to purchase were 4 sets of bleachers, some netting around baseball and softball fields, and that's netting between the, if I remember right, that's netting between the shade structure and the concession stands.
Yes.
Install some railing around the soccer field perimeter to help discourage people going out there when it's muddy and doing donuts and things like that.
Snowy, icy, they think it's fun.
Yeah, snow, if it's snow and ice out there, they seem to think going out there with the car hoods is fun, but to kind of discourage that. And then the last thing that we were planning on purchasing, or the next thing we were planning on purchasing, if this isn't in any order, is a security camera system for the facility. And Courtney, you may want to explain that a little bit more.
We have a security system now that only covers the building, and then our parking lot. I don't know if I want to talk on camera. It will upgrade our system where we will have cameras at each, the softball field, the baseball fields, and at the soccer facilities in case there's any issues, anything. We will upgrade our building cameras. We've had them for several years, and they just kind of need an upgrade so you can start really seeing who people are if they're walking down the hall. But we've talked to a couple different people about putting that in, and I think we can get it done. So.
Are they currently hardwired?
Yes, in the building though, yes. Now, of course, when they do all their outside stuff, it'll be the wireless and all that. Yeah.
How much memory do we have on those? How far back can we go back to watch?
That's a good question. I can't tell you how far back. I mean, I know that I think I can at least go back 6 months. Now, if I see something, we have saved things on discs before. Yeah, we can do that. The time that our gas trailer got, stolen, the cops came out and we put that all on a disc, so we would have it for, whatever.
So that hadn't been an issue though, not being able to go far enough
No.
back.
But as far as how far we can, I don't know. I can go back far enough that I need to.
As far as revenues are concerned for ARC, of course, the biggest contributor is going to be the transfer from the general fund of $520,912 in sales tax. Miscellaneous expenses are pretty consistent and pretty comparable to what we did, what we planned for this year. And the same as interest income, pretty consistent with what we planned on this year. Where some of our changes are, and actually these don't reflect the last changes that we made, I don't think.
I don't think it does either.
This will be updated before we are asking you to pass it. We are planning on some additional revenues for adult sports, the ball field rental, youth sports, concessions, and gymnasium rental. And that is due to the fact that we have hired program coordinator. She starts work next week, and one of the things she's charged with doing is bringing in activities for the rec center that we don't currently have. So we are expecting some increased revenues there. As far as expenditures are concerned, we're planning about $251,731 personnel services budget. That's going to include salaries, overtime, health insurance, Social Security, pension, life, and workers' comp. One of the things that we're going to have to do as far as salary is concerned, we will be looking at the addition of 3 seasonal people out here at the rec center to help maintain mowing. The city contract with BJCC was reduced due to the numbers that they were actually providing us. So we planned on bringing 3 people out here for that. Really think that that may end up being a better deal for us. It's gonna cost us a little bit of money, a little bit of increase there. But all in all, these are guys that, these will be people that, guys or gals, that we don't have to have any direct supervision over 24/7 whenever they're out here. They'll be able to work, they're seasonal, they'll be able to work 8 to 5. And they're guys that, once they're working, at work, we can say, you need to go do this, you need to go get on that mower, go over there and mow, and we don't have to have direct side of it. They can mow, and we can be the other side of the rec park doing something else. So as far as that's concerned, at this time, I think that'll be advantageous for us.
On that note, Don?
Yeah.
Are we thinking, and I'm just curious, are we thinking outsource that, or are we thinking hire?
I'm hiring 3 people.
Okay.
3 seasonal people. I've got scheduled, and I had told, I didn't advertise directly, I just did some mailings to some, to basically some people at college to see if they had any people willing to work this summer.
Yeah.
I originally thought we would start on May 1st, and then September 30th or 31st will be the last day. That'll get most of the bulk of our mowing.
And they can get 40 hours a week.
And
So
because
that-
They can.
yeah, because it seems that those are the only days it's a pretty cut and dry. Here's your begin day, here's your end day. We don't have to worry about them being declared a full-time employee because of hours.
The average over,
Yeah, the average over the year.
yeah.
But that would be, we've done some direct mailings. I will start interviewing, not next week, but the week following. And right now, I have 6 applicants. And this is something we're gonna be doing, doing in several different departments of the city. I'm looking at hiring about 9 people, as seasonal work. It'll be from the day I hire till the September 30th. And September 30th will be the last day. We've looked at materials and supplies. Most everything in materials and supplies, as far as expenditures, are pretty consistent with last year's budget. You will notice that we did bump up property maintenance by $20,000. And what that is we used to classify down in capital improvements, $20,000 for field maintenance. Well, that's really not a capital improvement. If it's classified as field maintenance, it needs to be accounted for up in our property maintenance. So that's where that $20,000 came from. Other services and charges, again, are pretty comparable to what we are planning for this year. So there's not a lot of huge changes there. Capital improvements going to total about $39,000 compared to the last few years when it was $220,000 or $300,000. So there'll be a lot less capital improvements done out here. We are budgeting for $179,178 in our debt service. And if memory serves me correctly, this will be the last year. Debt service, I believe, pays off in July of 2019. So that'll get us through this budget year, maybe 1 month into the 2019-2020 budget year. But for all intents and purposes, we're done with debt service at the end of this budget year. And that would be my report over where our current status in the budget is. We will have updated numbers and everything at the next ARC board meeting for a recommendation from the board to city council to accept that budget. That's what's required in the in our code of ordinances, that's one of the responsibilities of the board is to make that recommendation. So we should apply it to you this month. If you see anything that you think's grossly out of whack, or you want some explanation on, you think that we ought to be budgeting more money or less money, please give Courtney or I a call, and we will hopefully be able to explain those line items a little bit better to you. And will you understand where we're at? And if you are making suggestions that we may have forgotten about or didn't think of, then we can certainly address it and raise it also. But I know y'all haven't had a lot of time to examine this, so did want to give it to you today, let you have it to kind of look over for the next month, and we will have something by the May meeting for recommendation.
You want to change those numbers and email it to me, and then I can give them the updated?
We will certainly do that. And some of those is like, I think Courtney and I have just had conversations this week or late last week about what some of these numbers need to be. We, last week, I sat down with all the department heads one-on-one. We went through their budgets line by line, trying to come up with something that we can live with. And Courtney just happened to be Friday of last week, and we haven't had a chance to update these numbers yet. But we can get that out to you as soon as possible.
Thank you. Any remarks or inquiries?
Question, I know previously y'all had discussed purchasing a field maintenance machine. I don't know what to call it. I know the one I'm looking at now is a Sand Pro, but I don't think you'd ever got it purchased. Is that correct?
Yeah, 2 years ago, I don't even remember what it was called. There was a new,
Basically would replace.
basically it would replace, it was an all-in-one smooth drag, rough drag together, but I don't even remember the name of it. Do you remember? I think I still have it on my computer, but it was an all-in-one smooth drag, rough drag.
Right.
But it might have even been 2 years ago maybe we had that in there, and we didn't know, we didn't ever purchase that.
That's something you're still considering, or?
Well, it would definitely come in handy, but we don't have that in the budget. We haven't budgeted that in, and it's not in this.
What area of pricing?
And I have to go back and look, because right off the top of my head, I don't remember what the one I was looking at.
But there's.
Do we have a rough estimate of what it would cost to pave parking areas?
We have discussed that at one time.
Yeah, we've discussed it.
I mean, because one of the things that makes it being uncomfortable to be out here sometimes with our wind is all the grit in the air from the parking area.
Well, not just
Everything
that,
else is-
but the last couple nights that even I've been out here, just seeing how things are, and people don't know how to park.
Amen to that.
I mean, do not know how to park. I mean, there was one guy that, here's a row and here's a row, and he was parked right in the middle, or a guy or gal, either one, but you have cars parked just
And you have
everywhere.
people that park up on the main rail, and then you have people that make the second row, but don't ever leave a space for the people
So
on
you
the
can't
front
get out
rail
of
to
the
get
front,
out. So
yeah.
then you got people popping over the curb.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a mess sometimes.
But to answer your question, no, I do not have an idea of what it would cost. I could get one. It would be it won't be cheap
Well, I know that.
to get it
So I
done.
was wondering how
Yeah.
outrageous it was gonna be.
But I don't know that today. I can find that out.
Because the best
Benny
way would
did
be
throw
to
some
use
numbers at me one
the
time.
city equipment that we do for
Yeah,
the
we do.
street stuff, right?
Yeah.
Asphalt
I think
on
would
it.
be the most cost-effective way to do it.
Well, that would be the most cost-effective way to do it. would be to have city workers do it. I doubt very seriously that city workers will be able to do it because of the time frame that it needs to be done in. It'd have to be done during the summertime, during the prime season when my street crews are doing streets. There's a certain window that asphalt can be laid in, and I've either got them working on streets or I'd have them working on a project like that. So, more than likely, at least at this time, it'd be something we'd have to contract out. And to kind of give you an idea of what some of that contract price is, last time I bid out a street to be done, I bid out Flynn Street from 4th to 7th, which is a wider street than most, but it's only basically 3 blocks, and it was nearly $500,000. One of the reasons we had maybe stopped where we were as far as expenditures are concerned, is that even this year, with not doing very many things for capital improvements, we are basically, we're about $94,000 into our savings account to buy what we've got planned to buy next year. So if everything works the way we think it would work, of that $400,000 in CDs, we would be reducing that next year by $100,000 with the expenditures we've got in there. Now, that's not as bad as it was this year. This year it was about $200,000, but we did go out and get some grant funds to help pay for a few things that really help us out. Not saying that we wouldn't explore those options should we try to get equipment, but a grant's not a guarantee.
When we get the debt service paid off, where does that money go back to that we're currently paying out of?
Right now, the sales tax money, the way it was voted on, for that 1 cent sales tax, half a cent goes toward economic development, in the form of scholarships at NWOSU to help promote economic development. The other half cent goes to provide a park system that enhances our economic development efforts. So that was the vote that was approved.
So when our debt service that is going to be paid off July 19,
Yeah.
that's where that sales tax money is primarily going?
That money will then probably be used to upgrade like the pool, that's considered part of the park system, or roads down into the parks, things like that. Maybe not all of it, but a chunk of that's going to be moved over to other spots.
And that's all dependent upon council vote. That has to be a plan of the council and voted on by the council to approve. So there's not a real clear answer right now for where that money goes.
Yeah, that answers my question. Yeah. Thank you. One other question, the grounds maintenance position, has that been filled, or is that currently?
Well, we've got somebody we had somebody that was a ground maintenance person. We approached her about her ability to do the job. She informed me she felt that she was able to do the job, so she is under evaluation right now as to her abilities to do that job. So yes, I've kind of got it filled right now. Some of the qualifications may not be exactly what we had listed, but they are something that can be, they can be, some of the qualifications we need that we can provide. We can get them where they need to be if it's for the right person. So right now, we do have a grounds maintenance person that is working to fulfill the job that we've got open.
So right now, we're in that pre-budgeting, planning area. Is sending that person to some level of professional development and training, could that be something that could be accomplished within the current budget, or is that something that could be budgeted into things to help that person get to where they want to be?
All that could be addressed during the budget year, but a little bit later if we needed to. It's not particularly addressed right now. We'd like to see where we're at with this person, and it is something that can be addressed in professional development if we need to.
That can be done after.
Yeah, that
during the budget.
That can be done with budget amendments or something along those lines if we need to address those.
Back to, are we still on remarks and inquiries?
Yes.
I don't know where we're at here.
Yeah.
Chad, I was looking at that, and it's basically a bunker rake. The one I was looking at is not something like this. Would it come in handy? It definitely would, and that's probably something we need to look into, because it could be a one-man job as opposed to right now. It takes two people to go out there. You have to lift up the nail drag to put it down, the smooth drag or whatever, whereas this is an all-in-one.
Well, and
You
you
know,
want
so
to help
it's
with
something-
when I was looking at them, the turning radius is a lot better than like the Gators.
Than the
So you're not
Gators,
dragging a bunch of stuff onto the outfield or
You know,
the
and
infield. You're not dragging that dirt
Right.
and then having to level, have people come in and level your
Yeah.
playing surface.
And that's something, if I look at prices, maybe Joe Don and I can sit and we can look to see if there's something in our budget that we don't need to do as far as like, let me look to see what I've got here, my small tools and equipment or, whatever. I don't know where we're sitting on some of these things. I haven't used a lot for small tools and equipment there. So, depending on the price, and I don't remember how much they run.
I was looking at some used ones just now, and they were anywhere from 10 to 15,000, but that doesn't have all the attachments you may need.
Right. Well, and I did notice also that John Deere sells one, and I don't know if there's
And this
something
is just a
that,
Toro that I
Yeah.
haven't on, so.
but as far as it would make doing fields between games a lot faster and a lot easier. So probably something we need to look back into.
So I guess I have one more question just to clarify what I was hearing a while ago, and that is the debt service money that we are no longer going to be paying for debt service is going to be redistributed to other areas within the park system as opposed to.
I would say that is not a true statement at this point.
I mean, that's what I was gathering from.
Well, there's been discussions about, the pool needs an entirely new pump system. That
Yeah.
money's gotta come from somewhere. So,
Yeah.
will all of it reallocated? No. But there will be some funds that will be reapportioned to
Because
complete
that's
some of
what I
those
was
smaller
kinda
projects.
Going with the paving thing.
Yeah.
I was wondering how many years worth of that, and do we get it all done and go into debt for that? Was what I was thinking. Because if we're through servicing that debt, then, because it'd be best to just do it, do at least a chunk. Like the big parking area here, worry about the smaller ones later. But I didn't know how many, like I said, hundreds of thousands that was gonna be.
Right.
because that would make this place so much nicer to come into. For everyone. And like you said, then you can put lines and people know where they're
People know
supposed to
exactly where
park.
they're supposed to park. That doesn't mean they will still will, but
On something I was gonna ask, is there any way that we could put like painted turtles across that, like between the two light poles on this side? And how much that would?
painted turtles.
Yeah, a little concrete where you pull up and park, divide the parking lot and actually give somebody an idea of, hey, this is a space.
Well, maybe, but you know, then you run the risk of people just gonna drive over the top of those and then they're gonna.
That's why I mean paint them, you'd have to paint them yellow because they blend in with the rock, but at least it would give some semblance of order to parking out there instead of everybody just kind of.
Yeah, but then you also have to remember, we have to think about, okay, if soccer's not going on during basketball season, they park a completely different direction. You know, and
Yeah,
so
I hear you.
it's.
I mean, it's
you know,
something we have to
baseball,
really
soccer
figure out
parks
when we
this way,
pay them.
They park, the other people park this way. It's a nightmare, but I mean, I get what you're saying. I've pulled out here before and you're thinking, okay, how are these people gonna get out on the front row because they've.
I've gone over the curb before.
Yeah.
I mean, last night I squeezed between a Woodward bus and,
I was not happy with the Woodward bus park right there. So I did address that.
I mean, it just, but it did, I mean, and it wasn't the bus's fault either necessarily, but, I mean, the bus was there before everybody else got there, but, you know, then cars lined up all the way to the bus except for like a space, and I have a feeling that's probably because kids were walking around the bus trying to get their stuff out, not because somebody was like, oh, we should leave space for this bus to get out. No,
They weren't worried about
there's nobody worried about that.
They
so.
were right in front and right behind them. They weren't going anywhere. So then when I did address it, he said, okay, how do you expect me to get out? And I'm, okay, you're right. You can't get out now, but next time don't park there.
Anything else? We are adjourned.